don't see the minutes in here, Rebecca. I guess they didn't get forwarded to you.
No, they weren't. We just got the file with the agenda.
Okay, who could I forward it to that could print it right now?
Oh, you could just send it to my email and I can go print it.
Okay.
I can go over. Or if you have a copy, I could copy it.
I don't have.
Okay.
All
right.
I don't know as if I printed them out.
And that's okay. You can just send me the email. I can go over.
I don't think I printed them out. So
Okay. I know Hugh Austin
He's not here.
Yeah, he said to us before he left that, he was on a big trip. He didn't think that he would make it back on time. I don't know about Cynthia.
Discussed it with him.
Yeah.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
Okay. Do you know, is Cynthia Porter planning on coming? Okay.
Cynthia's not coming?
No.
Oh.
Well.
We don't have a quorum.
Oh.
I was wondering.
You want to vote? I don't know that we'll have any vote-worthy issues.
No, I don't think we do.
Just to accept the minutes.
Well, we can't even do that without a quorum. But we can see them.
It's raining at home.
Is it? Well, it's supposed to rain today.
So I'm told. It wasn't.
I'm not looking forward to more rain.
Is this your book?
Yeah, I'm returning it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are these like kind of little mysteries? Mysteries? Are they mysteries, kind of?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
And I bet you read it for the recipes, right?
Yeah, yeah. The back
includes recipes and tea time tips.
Yeah, the back few pages are full of recipes.
I like that in some of the Amish books, they'll have some of the recipes that they mentioned in the, I say chicken and fruit luncheons.
Yeah, lots of times in some of your books they'll include recipes from other countries too.
Yeah.
They're kind of neat. You think, oh gee, I'm gonna try that and see how it comes out. But I don't ever.
You don't do much cooking, do you, Carol?
No, I do
think
not.
I discussed that,
I don't cook and I don't clean.
You probably could recommend many different restaurants.
Don't cook and I don't clean. Hire my cleaning done.
Oh, do you? I should.
And if I don't cook, I usually eat TV type, frozen dinners.
Yeah.
Or go out someplace.
Yeah, right.
I don't cook as much as I used to.
Really good.
Is it?
Yeah. They
Jeff
just
works
opened
at
back up for
Wegmans
their
when things are
spring
on
or summer
sale or
hours, so they're
specials.
open on Thursdays at
noon.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where?
I
by the
couldn't
courthouse,
buy it.
where the parking lot
Oh, yeah.
is, it's right behind.
Right.
Yes. Okay. I've eaten there earlier.
Where is that?
Right behind the parking structure. I was trying to think of what to call it.
Towanda?
The courthouse.
Mexican restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't eaten there.
It was really good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good if you like Mexican
Where
food.
is that?
It used to be the Flying Cow. Now it's the something Flying
Flying
Taco.
taco.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks. Sorry that I didn't.
No, that's okay. I just I assumed that you would bring.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want anything.
Okay, well, I guess we can open the meeting, and so members excused today are Lloyd Austin. Do I have that right? You.
Hugh.
I'm sorry.
H-U-G-H.
You. It's when you knew someone else with that last name before, You, Austin, Cynthia Porter, and Mary Beth Voda are excused today. Any addition of items for the agenda at all? No one. Okay. The minutes, we don't have a quorum, so I don't think we can approve the minutes. You can look them over. If there are any corrections, we could note that at this time. So any comments on the minutes as presented? Okay, we can, we'll approve it next meeting. At July meeting. Any correspondence, Rebecca?
No formal correspondence outside of emails.
Okay. Any public comment, Mr.?
No, thank you.
None. Okay, we'll go right into the interim director's report. Rebecca?
Yes. So you'll see that I've added a few different categories to the top of the report, being the counter, which is our door counter, and our accessibility count, which we're still keeping track of. I know it was brought up at the last meeting, as noted in the minutes, about the automatic doors. I did have a meeting with the commissioners, as noted at the bottom, on April 15th. Again, I brought up the issue of having automatic doors out here. It would require that they do another bid process. They did not commit to reissuing another bid to have that done. I know when Commissioner McClinko attended the January board meeting, he had assured the board that they had every intention of financially supporting us to get those installed. So at this point in time, I don't have an update on that, but we are still tracking that. If you were to go over to the library right now, we have several groups in, just even at the moment throughout the day, that come in that have accessibility needs. The nice thing that we offer here is having so many parking spots that are level. That's, again, one of the differences between our facility and the other historic libraries. Sayre and Towanda, they can only offer one parking spot. So that's a problem for these larger groups. Do you have any questions about the circulation, computer usage, microfilm usage? Again, a lot of that just fluctuates on the monthly. There isn't really much that we can do to influence those numbers, other than trying to market books when people come into the library, help them find what they're looking for. Again, we're saving people a lot of money that live locally. You can see that we're anywhere between $68,000 to $58,000 a month.
Now, did you want to finish your report before I have any questions?
Or if you have a question now, that's fine.
I subscribe to the Daily Review, but I have to admit I don't always read it every day. So are reports still going to the Daily Review on new DVDs, new books this month, etc., that list? It was mainly just, it wasn't really so much as an article or a story. It was just like, these are the new things at Bradford County Library. Have you been sending those?
No, I have not.
You don't think you'll be able to? Nobody here can do that?
Honestly, as we kind of discussed through the email yesterday, things are just very tight in terms of employees.
Is there, as books come in, how is a book ordered? What is the process? I don't know about Alan, how he is in. Can he order 10 books that you choose? Can he actually place the orders, or how?
He typically is not involved in that process. Right now, Terry Fritchman is actually helping me with the adult collection. So it's kind of a collaboration between herself and myself. We use a variety of reviews, one of the biggest ones being the New York Times bestseller list. We'll take a look at that and see what we think fits our community here, what we think. Well,
so
it's all.
So you make your choices. So you've got 10 books you want to order. Terry's helping you on that.
Yeah.
Then what is the process? Do you contact the booksellers, or
we have
a clearinghouse, or?
We have an arrangement with Brodart. They have they're local to us, relatively, right? Williamsport. They have a headquarters in Williamsport, and they give us a discount Now it's a staggered discount. I can't tell you the percentages off the top of my head, but we're paying less than retail.
So you ordered the 10 books?
From
So
our
just-
accountant Brodart. Typically.
So you just have an account and you can order books like once a month or
Yes.
whenever?
Yes,
Okay.
that's true. Now
And then the bill
sometimes,
goes to the courthouse for payment?
yes, now Alan handles the billing, the financial aspect. So when we get invoices from Brodart, he's the one that helps input that. He keeps an eye on the financials to make sure that we're staying within budget or on track,
Okay.
within reason.
Okay.
So he's the one that helps with that process.
Okay.
So that's how they're paid for. Now, I will say we primarily use Brodart. They offer services such as covering and putting in barcodes for us and spine labels, and that helps us. We do pay a small fee for those services, but it helps in terms of staffing on this end. It
Right.
takes less staff labor.
Helps process the books.
However, we also supplement with Amazon.
Okay.
Through, again, the county has a contract with Amazon. We have an account. Brodart only carries very popular titles, new things. So especially if we're replacing damaged books, or if something, not that it's, well, sometimes even if it's out of print, we can get like a used copy through Amazon. Or some things are so specific, like nonfiction is not very popular.
Right.
So we'll just go through Amazon in order to
Get those
place.
titles.
Yeah. So it's a combination of those two. We used to use more vendors. Like we used to have a Christian fiction vendor, and they went out of business. We use Midwest Tape. They supply Hoopla, and that's something that's paid for by the system. But we also get our large type books through them as a vendor. Now we can get some titles through Brodart, but that's another vendor that we work with.
Okay. All right, I just wondered because I've missed that, and I used to scan that myself, like for new DVDs or new books on CD.
And if you go to our website, actually, it keeps a track. There's like a list on the right-hand side, and it says kind of what's new or what's most popular. And so it's just an algorithm that Apollo runs for us that lets you know. In addition to it's not a scroller. What is the term for that? Where they slide across the top of the screen. I feel like
It's marquee, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, there's a specific term for it that I can't think of, but it
like
will
scrolling
just,
news
yeah,
at the
it'll
bottom,
just,
only it's at the bottom.
even if you're static on the home page, at the top
New
we'll
books.
scroll all of the new books.
Okay.
So those are two options if you want to see what's new, but you can also open up the catalog and do a search by, copyright
Well,
date.
it's just that I'm thinking of bringing news to people rather than coming to the website, because as I've said many, many times, I don't wake up with a hot desire to go to any particular website. Like if we have a newly diagnosed illness, then you might look at that,
Right.
and then explore. But I don't
Yeah.
routinely just get up and go to a website unless I have
I don't
something. So
either.
I just thought, I've seen other libraries in the paper, Sayre or Athens, had a lot of success with their senior programming because they gave a door prize each time. And so almost every week we've had a full, a 5x7 picture in the Daily Review of that senior activity with the people who won the door prizes and whoever the presenters were. And just a little blurb, like 4 or 5 sentences under the picture, it keeps them in the news. So I was just thinking.
Yep, I can
I have
definitely
missed
write
seeing-
that down.
I have missed seeing the lists. And
Yes,
I'm not a Facebook person, so everything can be wonderful on Facebook, but I'm not.
not gonna
No,
see it.
I'm
And I
not
know a
either.
lot of things might
I'm
be
not either.
recorded there, and we're
Yeah.
not on Facebook. So.
And I think they're, we
And it's not
always
just
used to,
age.
we just had a little blurb in the newspaper.
Right, right.
And it just kept the library news and name and function and everything in everybody's mind. Just to, if it didn't say anything.
Even if it's a
Just-
picture of the kids, if they've
Right.
signed their waivers, if the
Yeah.
parents have signed their waivers, like, okay, we did this, I know you have creative children's programs and stuff,
Yeah.
and, whatever is allowed. I know, I saw an article today on communication, and it's like only about 9% in this big poll, only about 9% get their news from a newspaper anymore, and it's more.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Nine.
online, or TV or radio or something, but
Mhm.
newspapers are down to about 9%. But still, locally,
Especially
It still
with
has an
internet
impact.
access problems, which we're aware of.
yeah.
Obviously the libraries did have a grant for hotspots and things. We're aware that
Yeah,
that
right.
access is a problem.
And then today your phones weren't working, which we just
Found out. Yeah, you pick them up and they have a dial tone, but you can't go in or out, so they're still working on
Okay,
that.
back to your report, sorry to,
No, that's
interrupt you.
perfectly fine. So then you can see some of the programmings, our weekly story times, book groups, the Write Your Own Book competition. There's under professional development, attending the directors meetings. I've attended a couple of the system board meetings. I did have a department head meeting with the commissioners, and I have another one scheduled for May 20th. I'm hopeful that that will become a standard meeting. I think that that's really imperative to have communication with those authorities at the courthouse. And I have an upcoming training in May 23rd. That's collection development, and that's actually hosted by Brodart in Williamsport. So that's an opportunity to see some of the new upcoming titles for the summer. Summer is a big publication push.
right.
People want to get their summer reading set up, so that should be interesting. The system has developed a strategic planning committee. I applied and was appointed to that. They have chosen to meet at our library, so we met on Monday, May 6th, and our next meeting is scheduled for June 3rd. Again, looking at, it is a requirement for the state and best practices to have like a 5-year strategic plan. So that's something that we're looking at, and I wanted to be sure that we were represented on that committee. Our internet, we are now connected to the county network. That was a difficult transition. There were a lot of hiccups that we experienced with the computers. That's been time intensive with IT to get those resolved. I think most of those issues have been resolved. However, we're going to get a new Wi-Fi counter. That's something every time someone connects to our library's Wi-Fi, it should track. It's another statistic, right? Everybody has their tablets or their phones, and if they're using our services, we want to be able to record that to report to the state.
Right.
And my concern since taking over as the interim director is that I feel that some of the numbers were actually quite low. And to me, it didn't make sense given I know all of the staff members connect to our Wi-Fi, and we want to make sure that each 24 hours that we're getting a fresh count for whoever's using it. So if we have the same person coming in every day this week, it doesn't matter. It still counts as 5 times that they've connected to our internet. So that's something that we're looking towards getting a new counter installed next week, potentially. And then summer reading, that starts in June. Adventure begins at your library. We're fortunate enough, again, that we have a teen volunteer, Abby Greeno. She is listed March 5th. She presented maple syrup for story time because I wasn't available to do programming that day. She's going to be helping with the school-age kids. So on Tuesday, she has the school-age kids. They meet back in the children's department, and then I meet with the preschool families. Any child who has not yet completed kindergarten is over here with me. And we run simultaneously because it's easier for large families where they have an age span, and that way they're not running out to the library more than once for that particular program. So it's nice that we can run them at the same time. And Wednesdays, we're trying to offer family programming. So we have, and I can pass this around, this is something that Leah Chisholm Chafee designed. There are 2 programs that are sponsored by the system. Tailwise, which used to be called Science Tellers. They do science experiments and tell stories. So they're scheduled, and we're also hosting Copernic Observatory, and they're going to be talking about volcanoes. That's something Leah designed. We will be doing marketing at the theaters. Those are the 2 shared programs. We've also paid for a visit from Tanglewood. They'll be bringing animals on a Wednesday. That's actually going to be a Wednesday afternoon. They don't do evening programs. And I'm still firming up some dates for other community presenters, like on bird watching and fishing. Local 4-H group contacted me, and they would like to do kind of a petting zoo, like bring some of their farm animals out. But it's primarily, I think, like a teen tween group, and so they're working on their schedules. A lot of them are quite busy. So we're still trying to find a date that works for them to present, hopefully a Wednesday or a Saturday.
Is there any problem with transportation for programs other than like your normal reading programs in the morning that maybe grandparents are available, etc.? But is there any difficulty with it, like during the afternoon, getting transportation? When parents may be working, that's all I'm wondering.
Yeah, well, it just depends because it's whoever have the children. Yeah, it seems like a lot of either if the caregiver can bring them. I know that people have used Best to come out here for programs, like especially in our book group, that's kind of an elderly population. So we have some members who have used that to attend meetings. I know transportation in this county is just...
it's always been a problem.
It's always been a problem. So it's just making the best of it. But we have had success most of the time. That's why I try to do it Wednesday evenings at 6, because hopefully it's early enough that you're not running into real bedtime problems, but late enough that if you have working families, they can bring their children. Even if the caregiver during the day cannot.
So these are at 6 o'clock then?
Most of them. Okay. Now, the shared programming, we have historically been slotted for Wednesdays at 6 p.m., and so we've just kept that.
Okay.
But it's one of those situations where all of the libraries, we stack 3 programs over 3 days to get in the 9 libraries. Yeah. So somebody gets morning, somebody gets afternoon, somebody gets evening. Okay. So we're lucky enough that I've always... I think I inherited Wednesday nights, and I've just kept it for that reason.
So it's fair to say that many of the programs will be at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays?
Yes, assuming that it works for schedules. Again, I'm waiting to hear back from 4-H, but that's the ideal, so that way working families can participate. This is a draft of a flyer. I did provide feedback. It doesn't say the time of day, but it's going to be at 10 a.m. We're partnering with Mount Pisgah. So that's an organization that we've collaborated with really well over the years for their story walks and other events. So we're offering 4 partnership programs with them over the course of the summer. I'm going to be leading 2, and Dwight will be leading 2. And he'll take the bookmobile up. So that's something fun we have set up for the summer. And then, as I mentioned, that's not a finalized draft. We've been working on that.
Or story walks, you call them?
Story walks. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have checked that out. They have one along the old Susanna Trail out to the boat launch. So they have
In Wysox?
No,
Oh.
at Mount Pisgah.
Oh,
they
there's
have
a boat launch there? Oh.
Yep, for on their lake.
Oh.
So it's a short section of trail, so it's really easy for a lot of youngsters to do with caregivers because it's pretty level and flat and not too long. And they have large panels that they use that for. So we've partnered well with Pisgah, and again, as it being kind of local to us, that's a great collaboration. Last meeting I did mention about the Yodos. They have arrived, the larger ones with jackets. The minis that I'm hoping to purchase for the juvenile collection, they have been out of stock, and we just received notice that they should be coming back in stock on Monday. But I've been posting to some library forums about other libraries that have offered them and how they've displayed them in their collections or used them for circulation, any of their kind of problems that they encountered. So I'm still getting feedback on that. We'll need to purchase a few other items. They have protective covers on them, but we're going to want a case so it can hold the charger and like a ring of cards. So those things will need to be purchased. And again, I'm hoping to add some minis before we do a full launch, but that's where I am with that project. And then the last item that I have is that there were no applicants for the request, the RFP,
Yeah, I saw that
the
in the
request
paper.
for proposals. The deadline was April 11th. So at this point in time, I'm not sure what the commissioners will be doing. They may choose to make edits to reissue that. I have not heard what their intentions are in regards to reissuing that, to hire a library consultant.
They are coming here at 2:00.
I think they're gonna come for a short meeting.
Do you have any idea what the meeting is
Yeah.
about?
Term limits. Term limits, I think, for
Great.
board members, yeah. Term limits for board members.
Great.
So that's all I know about that.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much what
Okay.
we have going on, unless you have any other questions about that report.
No. Or I don't.
Okay, does
Either
anybody?
of you?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
All right, and the, next we'll turn our attention to the financial report. It's beginning of the year. I don't, did you notice any difficulties, Rebecca, at all in
No,
scanning the information?
No, we're kind of behind in spending with the children's department, but I imagine over the summer I'll be able to hopefully catch up on spending on that.
Right,
Again, this is really just a balancing act of trying to get
okay.
everything prioritize everything. But there aren't any accounts or line items that I'm concerned about us
No.
going over.
Okay, all right. No concerns. Okay, and we also have the bookmobile report that was submitted. And he gives our totals, et cetera.
I would like to point out, he does highlight the level of community engagement. He's been doing an excellent job at attending local events and doing outreach. He is always busy and very energetic. I have been pleased with his level of work.
Good, good. Yeah, I noticed those. And for both your report and his report, future plans would be good to add. You know, like you did share some things today. And so also, like he says, more events are planned over the coming months. Well, if he has already got a few of those that he's worked on, even if he doesn't have specific dates or anything, you know, if he could include that, it would be helpful for us. So that we can get the word out among some people and, you know, say what's going on. Does he have the schedule for the month? I'm sure that's
Yes.
for 3 months. He does 3 months.
Yes, he does 3 months at
Yeah.
a time.
Maybe we could get a
Copy of
that,
those.
too.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Because I know he had submitted one before, like October through December or something
And it's
last year.
it's a rotating. So basically,
Yeah,
he
right.
does a first week, second week, third
Right.
week, fourth week, and then it just keeps rolling over.
So, and all those bookmobile stops are still open.
Yes. Yeah. We haven't had any changes to that.
Okay.
Is he still looking at the possibility of adding some up in the, was it the Rome, Orwell area somewhere
I
back?
think we're gonna have to wait and see. We'll probably evaluate closer to the fall, depending on. The only thing that really changes is like the Head Starts and things like that. Trying to add any of those. I know that we actually had a visit from River Rock Academy. They came into the library and got a library card for their organization, and they're now currently temporarily in Canton. I think the plan is for them to move to the old Kmart building in Wysox. Yeah, in Wysox.
That'd be wonderful.
So they have expressed interest in having the bookmobile
Yeah.
stop there for their upcoming school year. So changes like that based on request.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'd like to see something in that building.
Yeah. Yes.
River Rock, it's called?
River Rock Academy. Yes.
And do you know, is that preschool or is it?
Right now, they
or-
said their plan when they move into the Kmart building, I believe they said they would go kindergarten through 12th. Right
Really?
now, I think is only middle school, like
Oh,
6th through 12th,
Okay,
and that's alternative education.
yeah.
So, but I was happy to see them and help them this morning pick out materials for the kids to have at school for reading.
So what do you mean by alternative education?
It means that they're children that are having behavioral or
Behavioral.
educational difficulties, and so
Okay.
they've been removed from their home districts.
Okay, because previously there was a group like that in Monroe.
Yes,
So
and
I
that
don't know if that
is,
closed and this is a new.
I think
New one.
it's related. They were located in Monroe, and I know, so that was at the Monroe Franklin building, and I know that they still have some classes there, but I don't think that it spans all grades. And so the River Rock right now, I think, is approximately 6th through 12th.
So it's approximately 6 through 12.
That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and they just moved in. They said they're in Canton by the subway.
Yeah, the Gluttner building, Gluttner building, across from where the old D&H would be.
Wow.
The big,
I'm not that familiar with Cam.
okay, it's a big L-shaped or U-shaped building,
Uh-huh.
and they're in one part of it.
Oh.
They just applied for zoning, I believe, a couple of months ago
Mm.
with Canton Borough, so, and I don't know how that went.
Oh.
So that may be why they're trying to move. Plus,
Yeah.
it's a smaller building.
Right.
Kmart's much better.
And the previous alternative education that was in Monroe, I was a teacher in that one school district at that time, and I know we had, a few students that attended it, and I think they were bused each way every day.
yeah.
So being in Canton, if it is the alternative education for the whole county, that's quite a trek from,
Yes.
say, Sayre, Athens
Yes.
to Canton each day. You'd take way over an hour each way, I would say.
I
Yeah.
originally thought it was just for Canton kids because of the size of the building, but
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
If it's for the whole county, it's definitely too small of a building.
Yeah, that's
and
why
it's
they
too
need
far out.
Kmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know, the school districts did use that for alternative education for students who needed that direction. Okay, all right. All right, and you've already given us your children's outreach within your main report. Linda, do you want to say anything about building and grounds?
Well, I have done some work on the planners. They're not completed yet because I didn't find what I wanted. But I do have the center of the planters done. They're still in the pots because I need to fill in around them, and I haven't found what I want yet. So, but that will be happening soon. And that's pretty much for the spring.
Okay, and I would comment, I've noticed different weeds
I have
coming around.
noticed that
And that's
too.
not your responsibility. The
No,
commissioner said
but I-
before, just call and they need to spread
Right,
weed control.
Right,
Mhm.
I
Weed be
was
gone or
gonna say
something.
that. I stopped and pulled a few
Yeah, but don't,
on
that's
my
not
way
your.
in, but that's,
Yeah.
it's not my job.
No,
No.
And,
so you're gonna
They
contact
shouldn't
the
be- yeah.
commissioners?
sure, they shouldn't be letting that happen. That's,
For a weed control. Okay, system board, Carol.
Okay, as Rebecca mentioned, no consultant has been hired,
Right.
so we're waiting on that, what's going to transpire there. In our discussion of updating the strategic plan, it was decided that we form a new board of having some of our board members, some of the library directors, and 3 volunteer patrons of the libraries to work on that strategic plan, to get input from the community and from the directors of our libraries and so on. So that has to be completed by October, and so it's hoped that that'll be completed by September, so she can submit that by October. I think I'd mentioned before, but we discussed again the new regulations of library directors, that's could possibly put a real strain on our library systems because of not being able to find qualified people in this area.
Right. They have to have like what, at least an associate degree to be.
It's something similar to that.
Yeah.
So many college credits, and then they also need to have so many credits in library science.
Yeah.
Not a full master's degree, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like
Some
9 or
courses
12.
goes
Yeah.
by 18 credits, 18 or,
Yeah. So there's a number. I don't know.
So new
No.
requirements for directors.
Yes.
Yes. Whereas a lot of the directors currently serving
Some smaller
libraries, they do not have that. So it's unclear whether or not they'd be allowed to be grandfathered in, or even though a lot of them are looking towards retirement, I would say, in 5 years or less. So that puts a burden on the libraries, because not only to find qualified candidates, but to be able to afford to pay them what
It
they're.
was my understanding previously that there weren't going to be any grandfathering. It was like, you've got to
Have this. Yeah.
I think
so
that's what has been said.
So
But I wouldn't swear
Yeah.
my last dollar on it, but.
she mentioned that maybe there might have to be some creative ideas, library sharing directors and things like that, that are certified people, something of that nature.
Maybe the current person continuing, but with oversight by a licensed director. I don't know. Or
But
maybe the
we don't know
system-
either,
the
I guess,
system
at this point.
director
It's
who's
just
got her master's, of course.
see how it's all
Whether
going
she
to
could
shake
do
out.
any oversight, yeah.
The Samuel Gailey author event that's going to be August 25th at the Keystone Theater.
Samuel,
Gailey, Gailey.
Gailey, author,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be at Keystone?
Yep.
Evening program
No, it's speculated to be either 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
on a Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday. It's a
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday? Okay, that's a Sunday, okay, 1 to 2, okay, 1 or 2.
Haven't set the time yet.
And do we have his current book in mind?
Come away from her. Come away from her.
Come away from her.
Our book group read it a month or 2 ago. I can't remember the month.
Yeah,
They kind of blur
I
together,
remember
but
it now. I mean, I
yeah.
haven't.
So
read
the
it,
system purchased 15 copies
Mhm.
to be shared amongst the libraries. We have done it. I know that Troy Library has done it. Monroe Library. Their book groups, their respective book groups have. It is like a thriller, and he wants everyone to have read the book before doing the presentation, because big spoiler.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it already,
Yeah.
then it's not going to be as much fun to read.
Right. Okay.
And then the Peggy Barber Tribute Grant, which we were one of 3 libraries to receive that. So that was really great.
How much was that? Was it a dollar amount?
1,500, I believe.
Yeah,
13, 1,500, something like that.
And it was to be used for what?
Civic
Civic programming?
programs. And so ours is going to be the voting community conversation event, September 8th at the Keystone Theater again. And that also is 1 to 2 p.m. And they're expecting to invite all the elected officials of the area. Not that they are not to be giving political statements or anything, but to be invited to share in that. It'll be on voting. How to register, how to, cast your votes, all that type of thing. The Pennsylvania Library Association is requesting an increase of $2.8 million, which is a 4% increase over the previous allotment. And we are being asked to contact our elected officials to thank them for their past support and to inform them of the need for this increased funding, maybe even more funding than this. This is just a minimum increase.
Because it's still below their, 1970 funding or something like
Something like
that, or
that.
1990 funding?
Yeah, there was a huge cut, I
Yeah,
believe,
we
in
were
like
cut in half.
2000.
We were
Yeah,
cut in half, I remember,
2006
because,
or 2008.
Yeah, literacy was cut, remember? Literacy program was cut in half. Yeah.
And June 8th, the Bradford County Pride Group is having a block party at the Progress Building and parking lot in Towanda, and Leah said she would attend and provide brochures and marketing materials about the libraries to that.
So June 8th, Pride Community Event at, where did you say?
Progress
Block? Progress
Built
parking lot?
parking lot.
Okay.
And the system voted to support the building program at the Mather Memorial Library. They plan to double the size of their ground floor. So hopefully they can limit access to the top floor, which those steps are pretty steep and dangerous for old folks. Some of us are older. Pardon me?
So this is-
Mather.
No, this is
Ulster. isn't it?
Ulster.
Yeah.
Mather.
Ulster.
Ulster system-supported Mather Library, and what are they doing? Are
They're going to increase the floor size, the ground floor by, I think, about double.
They're applying for a grant
Yeah.
for potential funding.
Do they have the space that could be added on?
Yes, there's potential neighboring lots available
Oh,
for
are they?
purchase.
Hoping to buy two,
But
excuse me. Go ahead.
it's a stretch. It's a stretch project
Yep.
that would be amazing if it happened, but it's a grant, so you never know.
Okay. So grant application.
Yep, and so they want to buy these 2 houses so that they can add
I
the
see.
space for the building and also a parking lot, because now you have to park across the road
Right.
and walk across.
Or on the side,
20.
shoulder.
And we're continuing to work on revising and updating policies, and that's all I have. Did I miss anything, Rebecca? You
No.
happened to be there.
But I do appreciate you sending any information after the meetings. That's helpful, because prior to March, we didn't have access to that information. Leah wasn't sharing that, so.
Okay, thanks, Carol.
Mhm.
Friends group, anything at all going on? I never heard of them.
No, they are hopefully meeting sometime soon, but they haven't scheduled that. Again, the board members are looking at resigning to turn over to new leadership, but it's just an issue with everyone's schedules.
Okay.
So that has not been scheduled yet.
All right, any other unfinished business?
Oh, while we're talking about the Friends, even though they haven't met, I would like to point out again that they financially supported the Write Your Own Book competition.
Uh-huh.
So like those books have been ordered, the Friends, and I think the total was like $600. I don't know off the top of my head. Again, Alan is the one that assists me with purchasing those. But the Friends have supported us financially in that way. So I wanted to acknowledge that.
Do you usually have that many applicants, or
It
not applicants,
waivers. It waivers. So I think since I've been here, it's anywhere between like 70 to 100. So like we had 86, and of course our timeline was off this year because of everything else that had happened. So I would say it was somewhat decent, and it's always a celebratory thing. It's nice having the reception and to encourage writing outside of just homework,
right?
kind of thing.
Great.
Okay, any other new business to bring before the board? Any announcements?
I think I pretty much covered it just
I think
in
so.
talking about things. As we firm up more events for summer reading, scheduling community members for those Wednesday programs, I can email flyers to the board.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be
Thank you.
helpful. It's just planning is messy and time consuming. It can just take a while to get everything settled. But we have historically really done well. I felt like last year we were just finally starting to bounce back kind of from COVID. So I'm excited that, again, we have that teen volunteer, and I'm hoping for really great numbers this summer.
So does she accrue, you said she's a teen volunteer, this Abby Green.
Mm-hmm.
Does she get any like community service credits or anything, or just resume building?
I think it's just resume building. We track her hours. I encourage her to track her hours, and obviously she's getting close. She's 16 now. She has her own driver's license. It makes me feel old how long I've been here. So as she moves forward, and if she wants to apply for colleges and things, I would be more than willing to write a reference. She has done tremendous work for us
That's
on our
great.
behalf. So we're very fortunate.
Well, it's important for her to track her hours so that she can put that on
Yes.
a resume.
Yes, so I have encouraged her to do so. So
Good. Okay, anything else? All right, our next meeting, July 11th, 2024. And the meeting is adjourned.